You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that had, has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoy the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.
So welcome to the Future Tech Podcast and Good Night Sleep Project Podcast. Today I have Richard Jacobs, founder of the Good Night Sleep Project, an AI-powered custom-tailored pillow that I myself have had the opportunity to try, and I can say it is a real game changer when it comes to sleep. Welcome, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing good. Sleeping better these days, thank God.
Me too. Well, I wanted to talk to you today about how this $197 investment can fix a huge $1,000 sleep problem that millions of Americans and people around the world have. Why don't you start to tell me a little bit about what first got you, interested in getting to the bottom of your own sleep issues? How serious were the problems that you were facing?
I've had problems with sleep for, probably 20 years, maybe less, 15, 20 years. But, I snore. My wife would tell me I snore, and then sometimes she just wasn't able to sleep in the bed because I would snore her awake. I would wake up tired quite a bit. I'd wake up, I started waking up some nights 3 and 4 and 5 times on a good night. Sometimes it would be 10 on a bad night. I was stuffed up a lot. Just the sleep wasn't good. And there were times I dreaded going to sleep because I thought, unless I lay in bed 8, 9 hours, I'm just not going to feel good. And even then I might not feel good. So it's just sleep problems, one after another. Sometimes I would eat too close to bed and, I'd wake up and again have to pee or, get indigestion while I slept. I just didn't know much about sleep. And, I'd had poor sleep for a long time, and I got fed up with it. And, I had some other health issues, and I started looking at my entire health, what's going on with every aspect of it. So, one day I'm laying there talking to my wife, and I was saying to her, this pillow I'm using it's flattening out. It's really annoying me, and I don't know what to do. And I said, what they need to do is they need to have like a custom thickness pillow that suits you exactly, not just large or small. And so she says, well, why don't you go do something about it? I said, all right, I will. And, because I had a bit of free time to work on stuff. So I decided that's what I'm going to do is make such a pillow. So that's where all this came from.
Well, if anyone, there's tons of us out there like myself and probably you before the idea struck you, but we all just kind of put up with bad sleep. Why do you think that is? Whether it's us in the U.S. or it's a global thing, but I think we've all kind of just come to accept I sleep crappy, but at least I sleep kind of thing.
I think there's a bunch of reasons. I think sleep's an afterthought for a lot of people. Everyone knows obviously they need to sleep, but they don't want to, and they don't sit there thinking, all right, I got to make sure I get to bed by this time, and I want to do this and that, and I want to make sure I have a good sleep. And I don't think people think like that. I think you're busy with life and work and family and all the other evil necessity they call it, I guess. So there's not a lot of thought into it, and it's not easy. When you're asleep, you're out of it, you're unconscious. So things that are going on, you may not be aware of what's happening with you. Just like if someone busts in the room and asks you questions, you go, what? You're out of it. You're sleeping. You're trying to sleep. So if you're having a problem, you're not going to be aware. Like if you snore, most people that snore don't know they snore. It's someone else telling them, hey, you're snoring. Really? Or you'll wake up tired and it takes you a while to get going, but you're not thinking why, what happened. And I've seen in order to fix your sleep, you really got to think about it. You got to think what's going on. What are all the potential things that are affecting you? It's just it just seems like, again, that's the place it's had in my life until recently. And I think for a lot of people, they probably feel the same way about it.
I'd say I've read your sleep book, and I learned a lot from it about what being better actually means. I mean, it seems like there's so many components that we don't think about until your book broke it down for me. Tell the listeners a little bit about what does sleeping better mean, rather than just closing your eyes and yeah, maybe you get 5-6 hours of sleep, but not necessarily the quality.
The whole end goal, like the good thing is pretty much everybody has had a really great night of sleep, at least a few times now. They remember that feeling. They wake up quickly, they're alert right away, they have a lot of energy, they have a great day, they can think clearly. Everyone's had that experience, maybe not nearly as much as they should, but they've had it. And then everyone's had far more experiences of dreading waking up and just being like, ugh, and, hitting the snooze button 10 times and just dragging yourself through the day and just feeling irritable and tired and foggy and all that. So, thank God, again, everyone's had both of these kind of experiences. So the whole end goal is, 7 nights a week. Wouldn't it be nice if every night or every day you could wake up and feel great? You could say, I had a great sleep last night. That may not be attainable, but if 4 of the 7 nights each week you wake up like, ugh, and we can get that down to 2 or to 1, and you get 6 good days or 5 good days, that's improvement. I'm not saying every single night will be the greatest ever, but we can make big changes in people's lives if we figure out how to sleep better. And again, it encompasses tons of factors, but that's like the overarching goal is just better quality of life. Because I've learned if you feel better, obviously it impacts your health, but you treat the people around you better. You have better relationships. You're not a jerk to your husband or wife or kids or coworkers, and life's just better in every way. When you feel good, you have better relationships. When you don't feel good, you have bad relationships with everyone around you and a lot of conflict.
I can relate even to my 1-year-old. If she gets good sleep, she's nice. If not, she's mean. Just across the board, we all need it.
Yeah. And
Obviously.
culturally,
Go ahead.
I mean, culturally, there's a lot behind sleep too. There's a lot of, like I keep very late hours, and whenever I tell people, they go, "Oh my God, really?" Like as if it's a bad thing. And there's the early bird gets the worm. The adage, the old saying. I know from personal experience, if you wake up late, people think you're lazy. People think something's wrong with you. People that wake up early are prized for waking up early, and they're quote unquote better. And I just see it's pervasive throughout society. So for certain people, their clock may be running later. They're night owls. They're late night owls. There's different chronotypes, they call them. So there's all this pressure from society on what you're supposed to do, and that may not correspond with you biologically. It may not correspond with your schedule. It may, there's that weighing on everyone too, which affects sleep.
So it seems obvious. Obviously, most of us sleep on pillows. We use pillows. But how did you really discover the importance of having an AI customized pillow and how that will drastically change people's sleep?
Well, I went through a lot of other, I started reading books about sleep because I wanted to address that area of my health. And I started interviewing people, sleep professionals. That's just my way of doing stuff. So I've interviewed, probably like 120 different scientists, sleep people by now, and read a whole bunch of books. And then I did some self-experimentation. I got blackout curtains, so my room is darker. And since I wake up later in the morning, the sunlight would come in and wake me up early. Now it doesn't do that. I would take melatonin, and I tried that out. That would help me sleep. I didn't try sleeping pills because from what I read about them, they're just bad all around. You don't really sleep better. I tried, a weighted blanket. I've gotten a new mattress numerous times over the past few years. I've used a humidifier, because I was thirsty while I sleep. I used Breathe Right nasal strips to open my nose up if I was stuffed up. I used a head pillow. I would hug a pillow. I put a pillow between my knees. My outstretched arm I'd lay on, I'd rest that on a pillow. I learned about all these ways that would put pressure on my body. So it's not like I woke up and I said, oh, the pillow's the answer. I mean, I've tried a lot of different things to sleep better. And a lot of them did help more and more and more. Things improved. And I said, I want to keep going with it. So like I said, my memory of it is that I had gotten this new pillow and I was laying on it. And within probably 2 weeks, it got soft and it got, it wasn't holding my head up. And I realized I would lay there and just my head and neck didn't feel right. And I was waking up with headaches and going to the chiropractor and all that. And I said, now I got to solve this problem. Everything else is better, but now the freaking pillow is too low. And I'm a big person. I got pretty wide shoulders. Everyone tells me that. So I look online and, like on Amazon and stuff, there's king and queen and regular pillows. There's firm and non-firm. And I see nothing that tells me like, okay, based on your shoulder width, this is what you should get. I see nothing about that. And then I go to the store, like Walmart or Target or Bed Bath & Beyond. And again, it's the same thing. There's pillows, you can feel them. Oh, this one's extra firm. I don't know if this is going to work for me. So I went through like 20 different pillows, and some of them would work for a day or so and then not work. And it was just problem after problem after problem. So that's why I came to this realization, like, I wear prescription eyeglasses. Why isn't there a prescription pillow based on my measurements? I want a custom pillow. So that's where this came from, is that thought.
Let's talk about how it actually comes to be. I'm someone who's got sleep problems. I need a custom. How do you go about making it my own?
Yeah, so this is what so when I started thinking, all right, I want a customized pillow to me, I thought I got to make this as easy as possible for people. Otherwise, they're never going to do it. So I can't go to their house and sit there with the tape and measure them, and asking them to go somewhere and be measured. That'll probably work, but everyone uses apps nowadays and the phone for everything. So I thought, what if we can take a picture of a person and we can use machine vision and AI to extract their measurements that way? So I worked with some programmers, and I had them design an app, and we took like 50 different measurements of a person: how tall their head is, how wide their face is, their neck width, the height of their shoulders, the width of their shoulders, all these measurements from the front and from the side and all that. And I developed this app, again, where you can have a picture taken of you, and the app itself and the software extracts all these measurements and calculates it. And then I had to design the pillow itself. Is it just a regular pillow? No, it's no good. I had to design in all these features, which I can go into, to make sure the pillow keeps its shape for a long time. How do people lay when they lay on their side? Most people don't think about that. You actually lay on your arm. Your neck rests on your arm, and your head rests on the pillow. And your arm is either outstretched or kind of curled under you. And then your legs, your knees may be bent. What happens when you sleep on your side? You roll forward. How do you stop the person from doing that? And if they do that, what happens to their face? So there's a lot. I had pictures taken of dozens of volunteers laying there. I said, lay how you normally lay, like on your back or your side. We took pictures, and I looked at them, and I said, I didn't realize people lay like that. And all this parlayed into not only how to take the measurement, but how to extract the numbers, again, using AI software, and then what to do about it, how to make a pillow that was custom to that person's physical measurement. That's the overall process I went through.
Well, and I know you and I've talked, and right down to the materials used, everything was hand selected by you, tested and approved, and kind of gone through that process. Sure, that all components kind of work together. Tell us a little bit about all of those customized pieces.
Yeah, the good thing is I'm kind of an outlier. I tend to destroy stuff. I'm pretty heavy, so I literally will crush my bed. My bed will never last 5 years or 2 years. No way. It gets crushed within 6 months or a year. Same thing with pillows. I get very hot when I sleep. So all these things boiled in. Again, I snore. I'm heavier. I'm not the skinniest person. So everything about the pillow first was catered to me. Again, it had to be the right height. So I had to figure out, all right, should my neck be level? Should it be slightly inclined, declined, etc.? It had to keep me cool, because I was getting very hot with materials. When I sleep, I would relax and my face would kind of roll forward. How do I prevent that so I don't smother in the pillow, or my neck doesn't get kinked and my snoring get worse, etc.? So some of the design elements were, I noticed that, I read that a human head weighs about 10 pounds. So if you have a flat pillow and you lay on it, the weight of your head will smush that pillow in and it won't be level anymore. So this pillow is more of a wedge shape. You sleep on the thicker side. And it's designed like that because then when you lay on it, the weight of your head now gives you a flat profile to lay on. So that was one innovation. I wanted to make sure the pillow didn't, go soft too soon. So we developed a model with side walls, and I had to choose the right filler, and I had to put in supporting structural elements inside of it. But you can't make the pillow too hard where it hurts your head. It's not comfortable to lay on. Then again, when someone lays on it and they lay on their arm, you may look at the width of their shoulders, but when they lay on their arm, that width is not the right width anymore. So you have to look at that. How does that width change? So the pillow was, again, it went through dozens and dozens of iterations. I ended up filing 4 patents on the design and functionality and how you take the measurements and all that stuff. Because there was so much work involved in really dialing in what would work for somebody. I saw that some people are really skinny, they have long necks, and they have very narrow shoulders. And they lay on a pillow completely differently from someone that's really heavy with really broad shoulders and maybe a short neck or no neck, as they will joke about. So people like physically, they're very different, and they lay on a pillow very differently, and they sleep differently, and all that affects the design. So it was all like heavily thought of and incorporated to make it the best it can be.
What kind of feedback have you been getting from folks who have been using the pillows? I mean, you've done a lot of work, worldwide. You've had some users, myself included. What kind of, feedback have you got?
Yeah, we've sold, hundreds of them so far. I mean, just, it's not 100% positive, but it's probably like 98% positive. So the biggest problems people come to us with is they'll have neck pain, when they wake up, or it'll take them a long time to fall asleep because they're just not comfortable. Some people will punch the pillow and squish it up. Not this one, but the traditional pillows, they'll sleep on two pillows, they'll punch them, or they'll try to make it more comfortable. But again, neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, because you're out of alignment, not sleeping on a level pillow. The other, again, is insomnia. It takes them 2 hours to fall asleep, or 3 hours, or an hour to fall asleep. Another problem people have is they wake up 3, 4, 5, 6 times a night, either to pee or they're just waking up, they don't know why. They'll wake up, again, foggy, tired. Their spouse or their partner will say they're snoring and they can't take it and they don't sleep in the bed with them. So these are all the problems that people have. That is why they buy the pillow in the first place. And what we've heard is we usually hear two types of effects. So within 3 or 4 days of using it, most people tell us that their neck pain almost completely goes away, or shoulder or back pain, which is awesome. And I think that's because, I know it's because the neck is now straight. It's not, picture yourself. Imagine you tilted your head to one side and you stayed like that for 8 hours with weight on your neck. Your neck would be like in bad shape. So if you're straight and you're aligned, you're laying in that position for 8 hours. Or if you flip over, again, you're still laying for about 8 hours in that position. The right position can help you. The wrong position will really screw you up. So again, quickly, within, 3 to 5 days, most people say neck pain, shoulder pain, back pain, it's massively reduced. We also get reports that people may still snore, but it's like a third of the volume. Or some people, they completely stop snoring. They can't hear them, and it's great. So we've had couples that tell us, like, we haven't slept together for 10 years, and now they're back in the bed together, which is really, that's cool. That's a really cool feeling when I hear that.
That is awesome.
Yeah. We've gotten a couple of strange comments. A couple of people with arthritis told us their arthritis got better. I don't know why. I mean, but it did, which is great. And the second set of effects happens after about a month of sleeping on the pillow, or a few weeks. And I think this is because you're now sleeping properly and you've built up this habit of sleeping well, and you're sleeping better and waking up fewer times. So it leads to just improvements in other areas. They're telling me they have more energy during the day. They're less grumpy. They noticed, I used to wake up a couple times at night. Now I don't wake up at all, or I wake up less. So there's like these two effects. There's immediate, first few days, and then after a few weeks, other things are starting to settle in and improve, and that's helping them in other ways too. That's all the things I've noticed.
And from my personal experience, I've noticed just no matter what surface I'm on, I've got kids. I often am on the floor. It just feels like the pillow aligns your whole body somehow. And I still don't have back pain when I've been laying on the floor with the pillow for multiple hours at night.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, again, a real simple way to think of it is this: is you're laying motionless in a position for about 8 hours. So imagine if you laid in a position where your neck was kinked for 8 hours, or what happens to you if you sit too long, or if you're in an uncomfortable position, like even in a movie for 2 hours, it's uncomfortable, and you may go numb. So imagine for 8 hours, you're laying in a bad position, whatever that means to you. Of course, it's going to make you not feel good. So the main thing the pillow does physically, mechanically, keeps your spine, your head, your neck, and all that stuff straight. The head pillow does that. So now you're going to lay there for 8 hours and you're not going to be kinked. So now your body is in the right position. It's better for you. That's really what it boils down to. This is a mechanical solution. It's not pills. It's not any voodoo or biochemical anything. It's literally a mechanical solution. And in addition to the head pillow, we've now developed a pillow that you hug, a custom one there. Because, like I said, if you sleep on your side, you'll tend to roll forward. So a lot of people will hug a pillow. So we want that to be customized so that when they hug the pillow, it keeps them from rolling forward. which causes strain if you do. Then between your knees and your ankles, if you don't have a pillow there on your side, your lower spine will be out of whack. So we developed also a custom knee to ankle pillow. That helps you too. And then the last part, which some people need, some people don't, is when you lay on a given side, you're laying on one of your arms and your arm is outstretched. It can be hyperextended pretty easily. So you want your hand to rest on a little pillow too, to prevent hyperextension of your arm. Sounds silly, sounds decadent or extravagant and overkill, but it's not. So we've actually developed this complete sleeping system for side sleepers. It's 4 pillows: head pillow, knee to ankle pillow, huggable pillow, and then pillow underneath. Some people only need 3, but 4 is like the full-blown thing. For a back sleeper, you want one underneath your head, if you need one, and then underneath your knees, because that again helps keep the rest of your body aligned, your back. And if you sleep on your stomach, it's actually been recommended not to have a pillow at all, and frankly, not even to sleep in that position. I know some people do, but the people we run into predominantly, they're side sleep. I would say 70 some odd percent, and the American Academy of Sleep Medicine and other studies have shown that 70 some odd percent of people are side sleep predominantly. So that's like a major way people sleep.
And that was actually one of my questions was about the expansion of the Good Night Sleep Project line. What else can we look for in the future from the Good Night Sleep Project?
Well, it's called the Good Night Sleep Project and not just, custom pillows, because I wanted to not just be pillows. I've also learned by looking at people laying on mattresses, how to manufacture a better mattress that will wear better and won't cause you to, have a divot that you fall into or sleeping properly. So I developed some patents around that. There's also a mattress topper, same thing. That's also been filed. And then an air mattress that actually keeps you in the proper alignment too. So those are other products that, they're not here yet, but they're in development right now. Eventually it'll be anything and everything that can help people sleep better because, again, it's not a 2-second thing. Even a great pillow may not solve everything. It'll help, but some people may need extra help in other ways. In every situation, I want people to sleep better because it just improves quality of life. One quick example is that I travel with my pillow, and so does my wife, and I've encouraged anyone that buys the pillow to travel with it. If you go to a hotel or you sleep at a friend's house or Airbnb or whatever it is, you're not sleeping on your pillow, you're not sleeping on your bed. At least if you have the pillow, it'll help you. I've had people tell me that they travel with a pillow and it saved them. Otherwise, they would have been like in for a miserable experience. So that's my goal is to, again, help people have a better night's sleep.
What would you say, Rich, for, I'm just thinking of people like my mother who are thinking, ooh, AI, I don't even know where to begin with that. How do I, get these dimensions and measurements and all these things? How easy is it for, pretty lay person when it comes to AI to get you the information that you need?
You don't need to know anything about AI. All you got to do is have a smartphone and take a picture. That's it. That's why I wanted to make it ridiculously easy. So, I've literally I was visiting my parents and my dad dropped me off at the airport. And literally, I was about to walk into the airport and they said, Dad, I didn't get a picture of you for the pillow. Oh, okay. Can you do it now? I said, sure. So literally, I have a picture of him standing outside the car. I had him hold a debit card, upside down and backwards, just as a ruler in the picture. So he held the debit card. I took a picture of him, gave him a hug, said, bye, Dad. And that was it. I took a picture of him standing outside in the airport, and it worked just fine. I've had people take pictures. They're in the bedroom, they're at work, they're out on the street. It doesn't matter as long as you have a smartphone with the app, or even just you can even send the picture in manually with a camera if you really had to. But as long as someone can take a picture of you, if you know one other human being in the world, and they can take your picture, that's all I need. It's that easy. You have to do nothing else, and the pillow will come to you. It'll be dialed in right.
So where do we find the app and the website as well? How can people start this process of ordering their own customized?
Yeah, the website is goodnightsleepproject.com. It's plural, goodnightsleepproject.com. It's not the Good Night Sleep Project. I haven't gotten that domain. Again, the domain is goodnightsleepproject.com. The app is, if you Google custom pillow maker or on the App Store, iOS and Android, that's the app. What you want to do is you want to go to the website and look at the pillow, check everything out. We have a small quiz we ask you to go through before you order to make sure that you actually need it, and how it'll help you. And then the app is really just for taking the picture. So the app is kind of like a secondary thing. But again, it can be done without the app if you wish. You can manually send in the photo or photos. And one thing I want to point out is that if you're a side sleeper, I only need one picture of you. If you're a back sleeper, I only need one picture of you. If you want both, then I need two pictures. But I literally just need one picture of you holding an object such as a smartphone or a book or a debit card or credit card or loyalty card, whatever it is, a card of a standard size to act like a ruler. And that's all I need. I can make that pillow for you. You can be on the surface of Mars and I can make it and get it shipped to you. It doesn't matter where you are. So it takes like a minute to get this done. It's super easy.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that our listeners should know about the Goodnight Sleep Project and the customized pillow options?
In the world of sleep, in this, some people will say, "Oh, I need a new mattress," and that could be $2,000 to $5,000. Or they may say, "I'm going to go to the doctor and get sleeping pills," or the doctor says I need surgery, or whatever it is. I mean, this is not an expensive solution, and we have a guarantee on it. If you use the pillow and it's not working right for you and we adjust it and we just can't get it to work for you, which is incredibly rare, but it's happened maybe once or twice, and you get your money back. So this, to me, is a guaranteed improvement in your sleep, almost no matter what's going on with you. I'm not promising a cure or any medical changes or anything because I can't do that, but I can tell you just about everyone out of the hundreds of people we've made this for, and that includes chiropractors, sleep doctors, etc. I'm trying to make sure I get this into the hands of various professionals. Like, they've all given us like great reviews. So it's helping, it's working. So it's worth your time. If you're having problems sleeping, I mean, it's not a lot of money to get yourself fixed up. So in my mind, it's priced very well and it'll help you. And again, it's got a guarantee on it. So I see it as a no-brainer.
Well, thank you, Richard. Appreciate your time. And this is some incredibly useful information. And like I said, I myself have tried it and use it every day. It has dramatically both my life as well as my husband's, and I'm sure for our children as well. We're happier and better.
That's great. Well, Tracy, I appreciate it. I'm glad to talk to you.
Well, this has been a great sort of insider's guide to getting better with Richard Jacobs, the founder and creator of the Goodnight Sleep Project, an AI-specific custom pillow that is nearly guaranteed, I would say, to improve everyone's sleep. Thank you so much, Richard.
You're listening to the Future Tech Health Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Until I reached age 40, I never realized the obvious, that we all have medical issues, or we at least have a family member or close relation that has, or will have them in the future. Medicine and biological systems are the final frontier. Until we've conquered death, figured out how life began, cured cancer, and understood our purpose in the universe, there's a heck of a lot to talk about when it comes to our health. Future Tech Health means I'll be covering futuristic topics that are actually already in clinical trials, or even starting to appear on shelves or by prescription, or available for your own use. We dive deep into stem cells, CRISPR-Cas9, the science of sleep, epigenetics, medical testing, cancer, ketogenic diets, stem cells, aging, regenerative medicine, and more. My goal for you, the listener, is to learn from these podcasts. You may very well learn something that may change the course of your life for the better, steer you towards a new career, or give you insight into addressing a serious medical problem. Remember, however, this podcast and its content is informational in nature only. No medical, tax, legal, financial, or psychological advice is being given. If you enjoyed the podcast, please listen, subscribe, like, and share it with friends. Thank you.